The United States Navy has a number it does not like talking about. Number 381. That is how many ships the Pentagon says the fleet needs to meet its global commitments. Carriers, destroyers, amphibious warships, submarines. Enough hulls to cover the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Middle East, Africa, and everywhere in between. The number the Navy actually has? Under 300. And that gap is getting worse, not better. Shipyards cannot build fast enough. Carriers cost $13 billion. Amphibious ships run $2 billion or more. There are not enough of either, and the missions keep multiplying. So the Navy did something nobody expected. It took a commercial oil tanker hull, the Alaska class, designed for hauling petroleum, and turned it into a warship. No armor, no missile defense, no automated weapons, just 785 feet of converted steel, a flight deck bolted on top, and 12 machine gun mounts as the entire self-defense package. They called it the Expeditionary Sea Base. 3 are in active service right now, with 3 more built or under construction. The latest was christened in San Diego in March 2026. They cost a quarter of the warships they are replacing. And what is hidden inside them is more surprising than anything the Navy has put to sea in decades. 5 hidden places, each one deeper inside the ship than the last, each one more unexpected. By the time we reach number 1, you will understand why this converted oil tanker might be the smartest thing the Navy ever built. Let us start at the bottom and work our way to the most classified space on the ship. Deep in the hull, below the mission deck, below the crew quarters, sit storage tanks that most people aboard this ship will never see. They hold nearly 500,000 gallons of JP5 aviation fuel and 100,000 gallons of potable water. Think about those numbers. Nearly 500,000 gallons. That's enough jet fuel to keep helicopters, tilt rotors, and drones flying for weeks of sustained operations without resupply. Enough water to hydrate nearly 700 people at sea for extended deployments. The Expeditionary Sea Base doesn't just launch aircraft from its flight deck, it refuels them. It doesn't just house special operations teams, it hydrates them, feeds them, and sustains them thousands of miles from the nearest American port. In the Persian Gulf, where the USS Lewis B. Puller has been stationed since 2017, the ship functions as a floating gas station for the entire region's rotary wing operations. Helicopters from destroyers, amphibious ships, and coalition partners land on the flight deck, tank up, and head back out. Without these hidden fuel reserves, the 52,000 square foot flight deck above is just an expensive parking lot. But fuel without a place to use it means nothing, which is why hidden place number 4 is directly above. Go up 1 level from the fuel tanks and you hit the mission deck. Over 65,000 square feet of open configurable space sitting beneath the flight deck. The Navy calls it plug and play. Imagine a warehouse floor inside a ship, designed to accept standardized shipping containers, except the containers are modular mission systems. Command and control centers, battle management suites, medical facilities, weapons storage, drone operations pods, counter-drone systems, surveillance packages, cold storage, laundry facilities. Whatever the mission requires, the modules get swapped. The ship transforms. Mine Warfare Command Center 1 month, Special Operations Staging Base the next, Humanitarian Aid Hub the month after. 1 hull, infinite configurations. No other warship in the Navy can do that. And the possibilities keep expanding. The SimSec think tank has noted that the mission deck could accommodate HIMARS rocket artillery launchers as weapon modules. Marines proved the concept in 2017, firing a HIMARS from the deck of USS Anchorage and hitting a target 43 miles away. Put that same system on the ESB's mission deck and you have a converted oil tanker firing guided rockets at targets beyond the horizon. Mounted alongside the modules are cranes capable of lifting 11 metric tons in heavy sea states. They launch and recover rigid hull inflatable boats, combat rubber raiding craft, combat craft assault vessels, unmanned surface vehicles, underwater drones, and mine-sweeping sleds. Everything a special operations team needs to get off the ship and onto a target in the dark. But a warehouse needs people, and the people living aboard this oil tanker are the strangest crew in the Navy. Here's where it gets strange. Hidden Place number 3 is not technically part of the ship at all. The Expeditionary Sea Base carries an accommodation barge, a separate floating structure that attaches to the hull and adds berthing for up to 298 additional personnel. That is on top of 100 Navy sailors in the forward superstructure, 44 civilian mariners in the aft superstructure, and 250 embarked mission personnel, including SEALs, Marines, and explosive ordnance disposal teams, already housed on the main ship. Add it all up. 44 civilians, 100 sailors, 250 mission personnel, 298 on the barge. That is nearly 700 people living and working aboard a platform that was originally designed to haul crude oil across the Pacific. More personnel than some guided missile frigates carry in total. A floating city, hidden inside something that looks like a commercial tanker. And the way that city is organized is unlike any other ship in the Navy. The crew is split into two separate worlds. The aft superstructure belongs to the civilian mariners. They navigate, run the engines, manage damage control. They drive. The forward superstructure belongs to the Navy. Combat operations, weapons, air operations, and force protection. They fight. Two chains of command on one hull, separated by the mission deck in between. The civilians keep the ship moving. The military keeps the ship dangerous. The special operations teams living in the embarked spaces between them prepare for missions that most of the crew will never know the details of. This split crew model is what lets the ESB stay deployed for years without coming home. The puller has been in Bahrain since 2017. Blue and gold crews rotate every 5 months. The civilians rotate on their own schedule. The hull never leaves theater. It is always on station, always operational, always ready. A ship that carries its own hotel, 2 separate crews running 2 separate missions on one hull. Nearly 700 people aboard a converted oil tanker. If that does not change how you think about naval power, hit that subscribe button. Hidden Place number 2 is somewhere most people on this ship have never been, and what is down there will genuinely surprise you. Go below the mission deck. Go below the fuel tanks. Go below everything the Navy has built into this ship, and you hit something unexpected. Empty space. Deep in the belly of the ESB sits a massive network of ballast tanks. Inherited from the Alaska-class oil tanker design, these tanks were originally built to stabilize the ship by flooding with seawater when the cargo hold was empty. On the original tanker, they were essential engineering. On the ESB, they still handle stability, but they also represent something nobody planned for. Room. Vast, unused, purpose-built chambers sitting in the hull of a 785-foot warship. The War Zone reported that these ballast tanks are, at present, just empty space, a holdover from the tanker design that the Navy has not yet figured out how to exploit. That is what makes them one of the most fascinating hidden places on the ship. The Navy is already imagining what could go down there. A floating hospital. The Navy's 2 hospital ships, USNS Mercy and USNS Comfort, are aging out of service. The puller's commanding officer told USNI News that for the cost of running Mercy or Comfort for a single year, the ESB could be built out with containerized medical modules in those empty hull spaces. But medical is not the only option. Additional weapons magazines for extended combat operations, expanded drone storage for unmanned surface and aerial vehicles, underwater vehicle launch and recovery bays. The puller's captain told USNI News the ship has all the electrical and utility connections needed for whatever an embarked force can dream up. even a makeshift detention facility. The captain noted that the puller's predecessor, USS Ponce, had fashioned one during its deployment. The ballast tanks are a blank canvas buried inside a warship most Americans have never heard of. Every other space on this ship has a defined purpose. The flight deck launches aircraft. The mission deck houses modules. The fuel tanks keep everything running. But the ballast tanks, they are waiting for whatever the Navy dreams up next. That is hidden place number 2. But the most classified place on this ship is not empty. It is the opposite. It is packed with armories, intelligence systems, and mission planning spaces where operations are coordinated that most of the crew will never hear about. The most hidden place on this ship isn't empty. It isn't a tank or a fuel reserve. It's a room. Several rooms packed behind steel doors in the forward superstructure, separated from the civilian crew by the entire length of the mission deck. This is the Special Operations Command Center, and everything else on this ship, the fuel, the warehouse, the hotel, the empty space below, exists to serve what happens here. Multiple armories, explosive ordnance disposal magazines, a tactical command and communications center tied into the 5th Fleet Intelligence Network, mission planning spaces with classified communication systems, a flight briefing room where helicopter crews receive targeting packages before lifting off the flight deck. This is where Navy SEALs plan raids that never make the news, where explosive ordnance disposal teams coordinate mine clearance operations in the Strait of Hormuz, where intelligence analysts process surveillance data from Scan Eagle drones flying 1,200 plus hours of missions overhead, where boarding teams brief before intercepting weapons shipments in the dead of night. January 11th, 2024, SEALs launched from this ship's mission deck. Helicopters lifted off the flight deck, drones provided overwatch. Target, a dhow off Somalia carrying Iranian ballistic and cruise missile components, propulsion systems, guidance packages, warheads bound for the Houthis. Boarded in rough seas. Everything seized. The dhow was sunk. 2 SEALs lost at sea. The Navy searched for 10 days. That mission was planned in these rooms, launched from this deck, supported by fuel from these tanks, coordinated through this command center. December 2022, the same ship intercepted the dhow Marwan 1 in the Gulf of Oman. Over 1 million rounds of 7.62 millimeter ammunition, Iranian origin, bound for Yemen, seized and sent to Ukraine as military aid. Iranian bullets intercepted by a converted oil tanker redirected to Eastern Europe. That operation was coordinated from this command center too. 3 carriers in the Middle East right now get the headlines, but the ship that has been there the longest, that runs the most quiet operations, and that has never once come home, is this one. And the war room in its bow is where it all starts. The Navy needed 381 ships and had under 300, so it took a commercial oil tanker hull and built something nobody expected. Hidden place number 5, fuel tanks carrying nearly 500,000 gallons of jet fuel, keeping an entire region's helicopters in the air. Number 4, a 65,000 square foot warehouse that transforms for any mission with a swap of shipping containers. Number 3, a floating hotel housing nearly 700 people, including a separate barge that attaches to the hull. Number 2, vast empty ballast tanks inherited from the tanker design, waiting for whatever the Navy dreams up next. Number 1, a special operations war room where SEAL raids, weapons seizures, and intelligence operations get planned and launched without the world ever knowing. 5 hidden places inside a ship with no armor, no missile defense, and 12 machine guns. A ship that cost a quarter of the warships it replaced. A ship that has been forward deployed in Bahrain since 2017 without ever coming home. The Navy's most expensive platforms demand the world's attention. This one was built to avoid it, and that's exactly what makes it work.